Hi everybody, this is Joy at Red Pine Quilt Shop. We are talking today about the Quilt Genius products. They are a fun tool to help you do some of your own quilt design work. So the Quilt Genius products work really well in conjunction with the Quilt Builder card decks. So if you have any of the Quilt Builder card decks, there's 3 of these sets right now. They have some wonderful block designs in them, and each box comes with 40 blocks and 8 layouts. And you can definitely use these blocks with your Quilt Genius paper and use them to create your own fun quilt designs by laying them out on the Quilt Genius paper. So this product is really designed as a way to get your creative juices flowing, to get you generating ideas and putting your own quilt design layouts together. They're awesome if you are maybe putting together a t-shirt quilt and you need to sketch out and see how it's going to lay out. You can mix other block designs in to make your t-shirt quilts more interesting. It's a super fun product for laying out any kind of quilt, and you can work with mixing and matching block sizes and putting it all together, and you can sketch it out on graph paper. A lot of the quilts and blocks that I design here in the shop, that is how they start out, is on a piece of graph paper. So the Quilt Genius graph paper pad has 60 sheets of paper in it. 30 of them are 1/4-inch square sheets. 15 of them are set on the diagonal, and 15 are marked with an isometric marking, which is super handy. The regular square paper, graph paper, isn't as hard to come by, but this is a really nice quality paper, very cleanly marked, and I really like working with this. But those diagonal set ones, it is really hard to lay out a diagonal set quilt on a regular graph paper. It is so nice to have the diagonal set paper. And the very last one is the section of the isometric shapes. And those are perfect if you're doing quilts with any hexagons, half hexies, any of those isometric shapes. So you can purchase just the graph paper pad, but I really like having the whole design toolkit. And the design toolkit comes with the pad, plus you also get 5 stencils and you get a wonderful instruction book. So let's go ahead and open the design toolkit up and show you everything that is in there. So the first thing is the pad, and this just tucks into a center pocket. So when you use it up, you can go ahead and pull it out and put a new one in. These pages are nicely perfed too, so they rip away cleanly. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first stencil. This is a large stencil, and it is set up to let you quickly mark quilt layouts, and we're going to talk about that first. So this assumes that you're considering each square on the graph paper to be a 4-inch square. So it's set up on a 4-inch grid, and the nice thing is they've marked the sizes down the side and across the bottom, and they've marked typical quilt sizes. So you have kind of your small baby car seat stroller size, more of a baby crib size, throw size, twin, full, queen, and king. And they've marked what they considered a very common size in that category. So you can take this stencil and lay it down on your paper, and you can quickly mark by putting a pencil in and marking the dot in the 0. And I decided to make my throw a little bit larger. Rather than doing 64 by 72, I went up to the 76 line and marked my dot. And you can quickly establish a size grid that you want to work in to make a certain size quilt if you're working on a quilt layout using this. Now it also has at the bottom 2 and 4-inch sashing strips, 4-inch parallelograms, and trapezoid shapes in a variety of different sizes that you can use to quickly mark those on a quilt. So that is the first stencil. Then there are 4 smaller stencils: basic shapes, borders and rows, and isometrics. So let's start by taking a look at the basic shape templates. So basic shapes 1 has a variety of square, half square, and quarter square triangle shapes, and it has circles, half circles, and those quarter circles that we use for drunkard's path. Then the basic shapes 2 has orange peel shapes, square and a square, checkerboard, flying geese, rectangle and half rectangle, and triangle shapes. So you can use these to quickly create quilt blocks that have those shapes in them. So if you wanted to create basically a triangle and a square block, you can quickly draw in your triangle in a square block by using that shape, and you could use the side of your ruler to draw your lines. I'm just freehanding mine, but you can quickly make common block shapes using basic shapes 1 and basic shapes 2. So these are great if you're doing block design work. And as I said before, you can use the paper for creating block designs, and you can also use it for creating quilt layouts. It will work for either, and sometimes you even have room on a sheet of paper to do a little bit of both. You can do some blocks in a top corner, and then you can come back and do your quilt design on the majority of the sheet. So you can use the paper for both tasks. So this is the border and row template. So it gives you a lot of options for doing piece borders or row quilt shapes if you're doing a row quilt design. And then we have the isometric shapes. So you've got your hexie, your half hexie, your triangle, diamonds, kites, and stars. And you can use that as well to quickly draw shapes on the isometric paper. So here's a couple hexies that I have drawn in, and maybe I want to go ahead and add a diamond to the top of my hexie layout. I can quickly draw those shapes in using the isometric template. So you get 4 small templates with very common shapes that you can quickly draw in a variety of sizes, and you get that larger template for laying out your quilt grids. But the awesome thing about this product is that it comes with an excellent book. So you get included in the design toolkit this wonderful design toolkit instruction book, and it starts out by explaining what's in the kit. So it covers what's in the kit, and then it talks about using the stencils, and it walks you through how to use the large stencil, and it walks you through working with the diagonal paper and the isometric paper, which are a little bit more unique. And then it starts going through and talking again about using all the stencils. So it talks about your sashing and strips, which is on the bottom of the large stencil, and how to use those, how to use the borders and row stencil. Gives you some great samples. When you're working with these, it's great if you get out your colored pencils and you can sketch these in and test your color palette as well as your design and your shapes. You can test your color palette as well if you work with a colored pencil. Pencil is probably the best thing to work with around the stencils, so we recommend colored pencils or just a regular lead pencil and shading it in, darker and lighter to represent your light, medium, and dark fabrics. Then it covers the basic shapes 1 and 2, and it covers your diagonal shape template. Talks about the fact that you can use multiple templates together, not just the diagonal shape. You can mix other ones in and work with a variety of them to create a quilt layout, your isometric shapes, and then some helpful hints and tips and tricks for the wrap-up of the book. So it is a wonderful tool set. It is a great way to get started doing quilt and block design. It will get like I said, your creative juices flowing, get you thinking about ways to put things together. It's a great way to test out designs that you're considering making and color palette options as well. With the colored pencils that you pull in and use. So that is the Quilt Genius Design Toolkit. We have the toolkit as well as just the paper pads alone, which, like I said, you can buy them on their own, or you can buy that as a refill for your design toolkit. And they're available on our website at redpinequiltshop.com.